Hello, everybody.
How's it going, everybody?
Welcome to Smoke. Finally, we had a little bit of technical difficulty. What we doing,
One of them,
Michael?
buddy.
Anyway, so finally we're here. Uh,
Finally
Welcome,
made it.
everybody. And it was my boo boo producer. I clicked the wrong clicky thing. So you ever done that, Michael? Click the wrong clicky thing?
Yep, all the time.
Yeah, I hate when I do that.
Yep,
But
me too.
anyway, so we've got a awesome show. I'm not even going any further in that direction, Michael. We got an awesome show lined up. Michael and I both have been researching or behind off on this. This kind of threw us both um, kind of in a loop, but we got things going, and so this week's uh, this week's topic is definitely strange. We're definitely going to go down a what I call a wormhole or a dark hole or a rabbit hole. What do you think, Michael? You think this is a deep one to go to?
It's a, I don't know about a wormhole. Well, you could say a wormhole because it's got to do with space.
Yeah. So it's cultish, but yet extraterrestrial. It just kind of fits the bill,
Crazy
if you will.
folks.
Yeah, absolutely. So, so Michael, how you been?
Now, I've been pretty good this week.
Good.
Trying to
Good.
stay
Good.
busy.
Yeah. Um, I have. I've been busy driving my wife around. That's what I've been doing.
Chauffeuring.
Yeah. She had some doctor stuff she had to take care of, and
Important
my turn.
stuff.
Yeah, my stuff's tomorrow. Um, so yeah, but that's okay. I like spending time with her, even though sometimes I aggravate her, and she uh, she lets me know. You know what
That's
I mean?
right.
So, but anyway, but uh, but yeah, it's been a good week so far, and I think tonight's gonna continue on to be a good week. I know we got some bad weather coming.
Yep, after midnight, I think.
Yeah, from 3 a.m. to 8 a.m. I think is what is the time frame. Possible hail, could be some rotating tornadoes. That type
Yep,
of thing.
possibility.
Yeah, so it's gonna have to. I got up really super early this morning, so why not get up tomorrow too, and that way I can watch what goes on and um, make sure all my chickens are secure. My ducks,
Yep.
man, I've got 8 ducks born today.
Wow,
8 ducks. You know how much ducks eat?
a lot.
A lot. So, yeah, 4 apple yard, and as of right now, it's 4 mallard, but I think there's some more getting ready to hatch. So,
Cool.
I love ducks anyway. So, ducks and chickens, they're my friends. But
I don't hear them tonight.
no, I moved them out of here. That way, because Teresa can't breathe with all the foul
The,
dust in
the
the air and
dander.
stuff like that. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I moved them out, so now she can come in here and do what she needs to do. But anyway, um, so sir, are you ready to let's get into this?
Let's get in the hole.
All right, so I'm gonna let you tell everybody who is our topic tonight.
We are going to be talking about Marshall Applewhite and the Heaven's Gate cult. That it was 39 people that killed
Sir.
themselves in 1997.
That's right, and I do think that's the largest mass suicide in U.S.
Right. I think there
Even
was
more
one
than
that had like, I forget, hundreds in Ghana or something like that. I think it
yeah,
was. I
yeah.
think that's what I read.
Um, he had even more than Jim Jones, um, the David Koresh, the Wacko and Waco, and I say that because He was a wacko. Um, so
But they had 39 that killed themselves at that time, but there was a few other followers that killed themselves after that, not for the fact that they killed themselves. They killed themselves so that they could catch up with them to supposedly get on the ship to the new vessel that or vehicle that they were trying to get to.
right. So all right, just kind of backing up a little bit, starting from the beginning.
I got an
Um,
itch.
well, this guy, um, you've done a lot of research on him. You pointed out some things to me that I know you said you were going to touch on tonight, but so he wasn't he in the army? He was in the army, right? He
I think he joined in 54, I
54,
think it
right?
was, and
Yeah,
he got out of the army in 56.
yeah, and so we know that he had some issues, but do you think his military time is what caused his
No, I don't.
transition, if you will?
No, he
No.
had problems with his dad.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't think that had anything to do with that. I think he was glad to get out and try to do other things after he got out.
Yeah, absolutely. So his full name is Marshall Harif Applewhite Jr.
Right.
Right? Is that right? Is that how I say it? Harif?
Her,
Herf.
her,
Herff, I think is how you
right.
spell
Herf.
that. Herf.
Yep. Yep.
Wide Herf. All right.
He was
So
he was born on May 17th, 1931, and he died March 26th, 1997.
1997. Yeah, absolutely. And there's so many conspiracies about this Heaven's Gate thing, and
Yep.
I do remember portions of that, that went on, and of course, Hale Bopp, the comet, had a lot playing with it too, and of course, you know, when I was younger, I used to love space, still do. All that stuff was really interesting to me, and then when I started hearing on the news about this Hale's Heaven's Gate stuff, and that there was a spaceship behind Hale Bopp, so you know what I said? Hell yes. So, you know, so, but a spaceship, and he firmly believed that there was a spaceship behind Hale-Bopp.
Yep. That's what he
And
believed.
yeah, so um, back then, if you remember, Michael, I know you and I were young and stuff, but did you remember the news talking about a UFO behind Hale-Bopp?
I don't remember the news talking about it, but I remember hearing about it afterwards. That that's what they was trying to get on that spaceship supposedly behind it.
Yep. Um, so in order for them to get on the spaceship, these people had to die. Well,
Right.
everything leading up to that, they were practicing how to die. They were practicing how to, supposedly leave their body because this guy promised them that there was uh, extraterrestrials that's going to come down and give them a new body.
Right.
So, what do you think about that? I mean, how the heck is that going to happen?
Well, one way that I think it was in 1995 when I think it was David Koresh had
Mm-hmm.
the Waco thing.
Yeah.
He went after that and started talking to the people. Well, maybe we can, do what they did and start asking them, can we get some guns, or would you get some guns, and maybe we, go like they did, and they're like, no, we're not doing that. Somebody might get shot, might just get injured, and we're not going to get to go. So they decided, no, we're not going to do that. And then he's seen about the comet coming, and he's like, well, we'll just talk about, trying to get him behind that. And he heard that there was a spaceship supposedly behind it. And he's
So,
like, we're going to use that as the way to get everybody out.
well, who was the one that came up with actually the idea that there was a spaceship, pardon me, behind Hellbop? He was well known on the radio, well known.
I don't remember. I didn't
Art,
remember seeing that.
Art Bell.
Art Bill.
Art Bell is the one that he was just into that space thing. Of course, Art Bell was into the paranormal, space, just any of that stuff. And he was the one that was kind of pushing that conspiracy, if you will, that there was a craft following Hellbop. And of course, he had multiple guests that believed that. And I'm not doubting it in any way, because, there's all kind of strange things up there. And so, but yeah, Art Bell, uh, he discussed with all kinds of guests about UFOs supposedly following Hellbop, and they even I couldn't find it, but they even had a photograph of something mysterious behind Hellbop.
Yeah, there was supposed to have been some kind of mass behind it,
Yeah.
and they thought it was a spaceship.
Um, one professor said that that was just a fragmentation of the original comet,
Right.
and it was just being sucked along with the rest of it. So there was theories all about that. So I thought that was really interesting that there was a spaceship possibly following Hale-Bopp, and evidently Marshall Applewhite thought so too. He was like, "Yeah, all right, there's me away," and
Yes.
that kind of widened things.
So they went out and bought a big telescope, took it out, looked, didn't find nothing. So they said something ain't right. So they took the telescope back to the store and said, "This thing don't work."
Yeah.
You can see it. You can see everything else up in the space, but you can't find that spot. I mean, wow, how's the telescope not working? It just don't work behind the meteor or something.
Right,
The
it
comet.
broke. It broke because
Right.
it didn't pick up what he said that was going to be there. So he had to you know let his followers know that's the reason, because the telescope was broken. That
Yep.
was what I read. So
I think they lost a few followers from that.
yeah, he did. Now, of course, him leading into that type of thing, he had ties with the CIA, and of course, the CIA actually said that he was using mind control. Well, how do these people get their followers, David Koresh, all these other cultists? How do they get people to follow them? Sure, it's a mind thing. They have to do something to convince them, and
All right.
yeah, it's got to be pretty strong if they convince them to sell all their stuff, run away from their family. Um,
Leave their little kids behind.
yeah, so that's pretty strong uh, power suggestion type thing. Of course, we in our last show we had Charles Manson use that very same thing to
Right.
get his followers, and so
But I think I read something that they said that he didn't use drugs on his people. I could be wrong, but like you
no,
said, he had to do something. There
well,
was there was one person that went to one meeting and got rid of everything
yeah,
and joined the group.
well,
Hey, Dawn.
there there was drugs used, but we'll get to that a little bit further down in the show. But mind controlling drugs, I've never seen any of that
Right.
on anything that I read, any research. It was all him and the lady that was his co-conspirator, if you will. What was her name? Um, She ended up dying.
I think it was Bonnie Nettles.
Yes, that's it.
Bonnie
Absolutely.
Nettles. She
Yeah,
died of cancer.
cancer.
I read. I've
1985,
Yeah. I've heard.
1985, I think.
I've heard liver cancer, and I've heard brain cancer. So
Brain cancer is what I read, but I
yeah,
mean, of
I've
course,
read both of them. Yep.
pardon me, that was speculation anyway
Right.
on that factor. So, but the CIA, when they were doing their analyzing of this cat, um,
What's up, Ben?
they they were just totally blown out of the way that he was able to convince people. Now, Michael, do you think he was so manipulative and smart and how to control people because he learned it when he was at Alabama?
Yeah, he learned something at Alabama. It wasn't that, I don't think.
I told Teresa, I said, "Yeah, Michael's going to bring up that whole Alabama thing," and I said, "I'm going to have something, to go with that." So
He was forced out of Alabama for trying to have sexual relations with another man,
right,
and they didn't back then. They didn't really look good on that.
no, society was really frowned on that.
War Eagle.
Okay, but but this man convinced all of his followers that there was a UFO following Hale-Bopp. Just kind of summarize things, and that the total, the everything that he is trying to teach them, that they're going to get new bodies, and that the next level, as he called it, was going to
Right.
be when they go to this ship. And so if you went, if they went to this ship, did you ever read where you could clarify that these people would be in command of the ship, or was it just a new home, or his
From
idea of heaven?
from what I saw and read, they were supposed to be going on this ship, changing from their human form to alien form, and the ship was supposed to take them to heaven.
Right. Now, some of his teachings was that the body was just a container for the soul.
Yep.
Well, in some ways, that's not far fetched. Okay, but he also said, I'm talking about Applewhite, said this, that extraterrestrials created Christianity. So if they created Christianity, then that would that would kind of change the way people looked at Christians now totally. Of
Yep.
course, most people now believe that extraterrestrials are evil, if you will. They're some of them call them demons and things of that nature. Um, so if this guy got 39 people to convince them that they were going to get on a ship and fly away, all they had to do was die to cross over.
Right.
And so,
They had to leave their vehicle to go to the next vehicle.
right.
That's what they called their body, the vehicle.
Yep, yep, yep. And that's kind of crazy. Well, it is crazy, but we we know that we don't believe that. Everybody has their own beliefs. Don't get me wrong. Um,
And
but
the way they killed themselves, they took these barbiturates. I think it was,
phenobarbital,
yeah,
or
right. And they mixed it with applesauce or whiskey,
uh,
and then they took shifts. I think it was three different shifts, and they took this group went ahead and helped these guys die, and they
and cleaned up the mess.
cleaned up everything. And then they went to where they was going to die at, and then the next group helped them out, and so on. And he was like in the last four, and the other three helped him pass away, and then they took and unalived themselves.
Right. Um,
So it's like a buddy system.
exactly. So they their whole resurrection part of it is going to be extraterrestrial. They were going to become aliens,
Right.
and
That's what they
then
was
fly,
hoping.
yeah, fly to heaven as you were talking about. Um, the 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 whole thing. What gets me is, and people they can Google it if they want. They had a website back then,
Yeah.
and it's still up and running.
It's still running. I didn't know that.
Still up and running.
Yeah.
So a couple of the team that was left here, I guess, that you know, was left to carry on their whole idea of things, still running it. I haven't gone to their website. It was I didn't honestly didn't have time, but so so these people are recruiting if they've got a website up. So this could actually reoccur
Right.
or occur again. Um, so I guess in a way that his followers were looking at Applewhite after his death as a Messiah type figure because they were talking about him resurrecting. Um, now he's resurrecting. He's going to be like head alien, right? I know I say it that way, but I mean it's pretty serious. Um, but that's just kind of weird and crazy, if you ask me.
Yeah.
And I also read one of the other mysteries that kind of puzzled me was all of his followers wore the same clothes,
Right.
exactly the same clothes, and
Same clothes.
every one of them had $5.75 in their pocket.
Yep. That was supposed to be the toll. I say toll. That's how much they were supposed to pay to get on the ship.
Yep, right. A toll to get, and I'm like, wait a minute, extraterrestrial got a racket going on, man. I mean,
And it was supposed to all be in quarters.
right, got a
And
racket
the
going.
and the Nike shoe when they died, they all had the same haircut. They all had the same clothes on. It was like a track outfit, I think it was.
Yeah, they
It
was all
was
black though.
solid black. Then they had on Nike black tennis shoes, brand new shoes, and Nike. After that happened, canceled them shoes and never made them again.
Exactly. That's one way of throwing
I
a cog into the
I
market, right?
think they were called Nike Decades, if I'm right. I can't remember for sure, but I think that's what they were called. And they quit selling them. I remember when that happened.
But I did do some reading on the 575. I seen what you were talking about. You know, that was kind of their way of getting on the ship and paying, you know, that type of thing. But there was also another reason why some of the cult members said that the $5 covered the vacancy laws, and the 75 cent was for a phone call. So ET phone home, man. I mean,
Yeah,
really?
well, they're gonna have a 75-cent payphone up there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but and it was just kind of a symbolic thing that they were travelers, that they were people that was on Earth and just here for a brief time and moving on. And you know, that's a weird thing. I mean, just to
Yeah,
know, you know, I get it. I mean, we are just here for a short time. You know, eventually everybody has to go through death, you know, however it comes about. And, you know, whatever your next step is through death. And they just hurried their death along. And,
Right. Another
you
thing
know,
about their uniforms, they had a triangle emblem put on their uniforms that I forget exactly what it said, but it looked like the emblems on Star Trek uniforms, and they were big into watching Star Trek. Matter of fact, one of the members, their mother was the African American lady on there. I forget what her name was. I'm not a big Star Trek fan myself.
Lieutenant Allura.
That's it. Her son was one of the members of the cult.
Really?
Yes.
Now that's something I missed.
Yep.
Wow. Now they actually rented a mansion for the suicides.
7,000 a month.
Wow.
Yes.
Folks had some money, didn't they?
Yes.
Um, that was where Santa Fe, California. Rancho, Rancho
Rancho Santa
Santa Fe.
Fe.
Right.
Yep.
Um, so
$7,000, man. That's a
yeah,
lot of money.
$7,000 a month. But said investigators just discovered eerie details like purple death shrouds.
Hmm.
Everybody had purple cloth covering their face and torso, and identical clothing as you were talking about.
And some of
Um,
them did have bags over their face to help unalive them.
yeah,
Yep.
um, they had black pants, black shirt, and then the you were right about the Nikes, the Nike Decade, and
I keep forgetting I'm not on TikTok. I can say kill on here.
right, yeah, yeah, yeah. I was thinking, yeah, Michael, he's thinking he's on TikTok.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
You gotta watch what you say on TikTok, but I ain't there now.
Don't say the word midget either. Um,
Yeah, can't say that on there either.
no, but anyway,
Get
um,
your 7-day ban.
okay, that I guess that's considered racist or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, ask them. But anyway, um, and you were talking about each group preparing themselves to help the next group and that type of thing, and that's
You would
just
think somebody would have backed out at the last minute. No, I ain't. Yeah. The last what was it, three guys that helped him and be like, no, never mind.
yeah. They helped him. It's like,
Yeah.
wait a minute. I think I'm gonna rethink this thing.
Yeah, they're all dead. I'm not going to do this.
I think I'm gonna stay behind and run their website.
Yeah, right.
So,
Spend that
um,
$400,000 a year that they make.
but now I did read where they each one of the cult members did a video saying bye bye to their family and
Did
friends.
you watch any of those videos?
I did not. I hadn't had a chance to. Like,
Every one of them did those videos. They all had their hair cut, all had plain clothes on, but they were like, old clothes. Uh, they wouldn't let them just go out and get any clothes, but they did these videos with him sitting behind the camera. So these people couldn't actually just come out and say exactly what they wanted to say, fearing that, something was going to happen to them, before they went ahead and did it. And they would just come out and they'd tell their family, and they were smiling and they was happy, and they were like, we're doing this on our own. That's what we want to do. Nobody's forcing us to do it.
yeah,
We're taking off and we're going to the next level.
that's right, Charles. Glad to see you too. By the way, um, you know
What's up,
the
Charles?
maximum overdrive. That's what caused the trucks to come alive. Was Hell Bob. So it was great. Yeah, but yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just getting to the comments, y'all. Um,
I'm half blind, so when I look over to the side, I'm trying to look way down there to see what all it says.
Charles, you're absolutely right. The biggest cult excuse is Scientology, basically Scientologists, and
Yeah,
yeah, that's just crazy.
those people
And
crazy too.
yeah, and so, but these people, and this is gonna drive me mad now that I know that they have a website that they keep up and running. I'm gonna have to bring myself to go and look at this
Yeah, me
and
too.
take the time to do that, and because how legal is that? I mean, really, I mean, they knew that the whole cult thing was, Heaven's Gate, the outcome of the whole thing that Applewhite taught. So how can these people get away with running a website? Because you know that they're recruiting. They have to
Yeah,
be. That's what the website's for. And so, when is this going to take place again?
they even had a satellite TV series at one time.
Oh, I miss that.
It was called Beyond Human. Was the name of it. Then in 1993, they put out a $30,000 ad in the USA Today. $30,000. So back then, that was pretty good money. But I'm sure it's a lot more than that. Money wise today.
That's a well, exactly. I mean, it so in Applewhite's mind, why did he choose the whole UFO thing?
I think it was just a way that him and Bonnie. Well, let's go back and I think 69. I think it was Bonnie went to see a seer, what they called a seer,
Mm-hmm.
and they told her in 1972 you're going to meet a tall, slender man with blonde hair and fair skin, and he's going to be your one. And so he went and turned. They said, he was a singer actually, and they say he had a beautiful voice, and he was at an opera or a drama thing, and supposedly something happened there, and he supposedly took somebody to the hospital where she was working at, but they say that actually he checked himself in there because he was having psychological problems at the time, and she met him there, and they hit it off. Um, they were both into the same things, astrology and paranormal stuff, and just, stuff like that. And they just hit it off, become good friends. And she was having problems with her husband, and they were fixing to be getting divorced pretty soon. And he ended up coming between them. But I also saw that they didn't have anything sexual. They were just good
Right.
friends.
That was well. That was one of the things of the cult.
Right.
No sex
No
whatsoever. In
sex.
fact, some of the members castrated themselves. You know.
Also, when like new members would come in, if there was like a pair that knew each other, they would split those two up. This one would go to this area, this part, and this one would go over here, and they would pair them up with other people. I forget what they called them. Got to get my notes real quick.
Well, by the way, the website is called Higher Source.
They called them the check partners. That's what they were.
Check.
They had a check partner to make sure you didn't do anything wrong and make sure they didn't do anything wrong, because they had certain rules they had to abide by while they was in this cult. They had to get rid of their family. They couldn't call their family. They couldn't send them no mail. They couldn't do anything with their family. But when after everybody had died, they had a reunion. I forget what year it was, and all these cult members went to this reunion. And the daughter of Bonnie Nettles came and with a stack of letters that Bonnie Nettles had been sending to her through this whole time, and it just really ticked off everybody. Everybody was upset about it because she's preaching we can't do all this stuff, but yet she was going behind everybody's back and she was doing the same thing. She was doing what she was preaching not to do.
What
But
that's
go ahead.
Now, well, I was seeing that Charles, he says, if you look at all the cults, in order to be in them, you have to turn all your money over to them, like from Jim Jones to Scientology. Yeah, exactly. And now the website that they created, it was one of the ways they funded this
Right.
cult. And you
They
know,
were,
so
they were supposedly making about 400,000 a year.
so in the '90s, that was internet was young,
Right.
new. So that was something um, that people were just amazed at seeing. So I could see where it would catch on, and but it was also back then considered a religious website.
Right.
So therefore, it's protected under laws, you know, and I'm pretty sure, of course, the company that they used, it was Higher Source, um, and that helped that helped the whole drive of things. And of course, they went to church. They actually went to church, and you know,
He actually tried to go and become a preacher. He went for one semester, I think it was, and quit.
yeah, it seemed to be a kind of a thing with him.
Yeah.
Um, but and ultimately, in the end, the whole ordeal was a ritualistic thing that they done. All right, I get it. Um, Applewhite, like we talked about, described it as exiting the vehicle,
Hmm.
basically. You're leaving this vehicle, getting in another, and so how does this play into all of the alien sightings, all of the UFO sightings and stuff that we have now? I mean, are all these people that I mean, were those the only ones that done that and transitioned into the extraterrestrials? And that was just ones that we heard about.
Right.
So,
And it probably started the whole. I know that people talked about UFOs and stuff back then, but man, they got UFO cults nowadays. That
yeah,
that still to this day, they're hardcore on this UFO stuff. It's basically just a cult like it was back then. Like the people worrying about Area 51 all the time. They're hardcore on that stuff.
yeah. Um, well, there was two of the members that did that still run the website, as we were talking about. Um, they actually left the group, left the mansion before the suicides took place.
Yeah.
So why are they running the website? Either they're still making a lot of money from it, or they're recruiting. And I mean, either way, that's just craziness.
I think the first time him and Bonnie went out to recruit was in California, and then they did some in Oregon, and then after Bonnie had left, when they were first doing the first recruiting in California, they were telling everybody that spaceship's coming and we're getting on the spaceship and blah blah blah. Well, years later, after Bonnie had died, he sent some folks out and to do recruiting for him, and they went back to California, I think it was, and they were like, one guy raised his hand, was like, you guys came here back in the 70s and y'all said there was going to be a UFO going to come down and get everybody. Did that actually happen? And they were like, no. And they said they just felt like this tall because they had to explain, well, this didn't happen. But even though they was doing that, they still ended up getting a couple members from it, and they had picked up some of their old members from it. They even they even had to change their names. Um, Marshall's was Doe, and
Yes.
Bonnie's was T. I think it was Ti.
Ti.
They
Right.
also his was also Pig one time, and his was Guinea, and hers was Pig.
Yep.
And they had what was the other one? I'm trying to remember, there was one more. Bo and Peep,
Yeah.
and the Doe and T they got from the movie Sound of Music. That was one of their favorite movies. And they made everybody change their name. Their last three letters of their name was, I'm trying to remember how they spelled that.
It ended in
ODY, I think it was, something like
yeah,
that.
OGY.
And they just put letters in front of it. It wasn't really a word, but they made them change their names to these weird names that everybody had to have ODY at the end of it. And when they went out to work, they only let so many people go out to work,
Right.
and they had to give them like a regular name, just for that. Other than that, it was the last ODY, whatever letters they want to like play Scrabble and just throw out some letters down there.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Now, of course, um, there was how many? There was more females than males, right?
I'm not sure about that.
Um, read that for me, Michael.
Charles put, it's really not funny, but look at where they were recruiting. Most of them, their cornbread isn't done in the middle because I can see how anyone can be so brainwashed to do away with themselves.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
true.
Yeah, their cornbread wasn't done. You're
Yep.
right, Charles. Brother, you are so right.
Their elevator went to the basement.
Yeah, didn't even come back. But yeah, it's of course. Now I'm not really going to say these people's names. I have all the cult members' names, and when I was doing my research, but yeah, it's like one of the names they used an example of Rio Didio,
Yeah.
and because they added ODY to the end of everything. Shrody, Shrody,
I think
and
one was JKKODY.
yep,
They just threw letters in there.
it's just, I mean, it's just crazy. But you stop and think about it. He used a resemblance of truth in everything that he said. If you go back and read some of this, he talked about the kingdom of heaven, which was above us. Where did the extraterrestrials come from?
Above us.
Above us. And so he had that resemblance of truth. So maybe that's some of the way he was he was trying to convince these people. But now these people, and I've done a little bit of research on some of the people, and those people, some of them were really, really super religious, and those are the ones that he played upon. He got into their religious side. He got them to trust him, and then he played upon that. So therefore, here they are.
A
They're
lot of these people were rich, and a lot of them were really
yeah,
smart and had really good jobs.
yeah, yeah. He didn't recruit any dumb people, you know.
Mm,
And like Charles was talking about, like the whole Jim Jones effect in Scientology, their people, if you will, donate millions of dollars. And there's so many cults out there now, that's all in the name of religion. Um, you just stop and you could probably find, just Google cultist religions and give you a long list, and Scientology being one of them. Um, so, how many more people could step into that role as Applewhite was and convince people this is what's going to happen to you, and this is what needs to happen to you in order for you to go to the next level? And comparing back then to society now, how how many people could they recruit now if they
oh,
had the same mentality
right.
as
Yeah.
Applewhite?
Yeah, because there's a lot of crazy people out there now that
And they're
believe in it. People
they're
just
looking
believe
for
anything these days. People
yeah,
just put anything on the internet and they'll believe it.
they're looking for something to believe in.
Right.
A lot of them.
Anytime I
And
see something on the internet, oh, so and so died. First thing I do is Google it.
yeah,
It don't take but 5 seconds to Google something to find out whether it's true or not.
what was the age comparison back then? These were young to middle-aged adults, right? So if they were to step back and try to recreate that very same thing now, guarantee you would have 65 to 70% of young people,
Yep.
because
Manson wise.
right, exactly, young people, they are looking for something to believe. They're just grasping for things. And this disease of well, with that, I'm not trying to offend anybody, but if people get offended, well, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. But you get this tragedy of transgenderism. Um, people are jumping out there. I'm a boy, or I'm a woman, and but they're actually a male, and that whole mentality of them in their brain, they screwed up. Okay,
Yeah. And people thrive on that.
yeah. Um, you know, Whenever everybody was made, there was boy and girl. Okay, Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve, and that whole thing back then, you never really seen anything that dealt with that.
Right. You knew it was there.
Right.
People really, even today, most people really don't care about that. You know,
No,
they
I mean, uh, only only people with an agenda push
right.
that. And
Exactly. Nobody else really cares.
no, I mean, me, I can get along with anybody. Okay, I don't care who they are, what they are, until they push it to the point where I can't. Okay,
Right.
it's all in their court.
Right. And
This
that's
man,
about anything.
sure, and this man played upon that. He was super nice. He talked all this positive stuff to them, or at least they thought it was positive. He was he was you know bringing the science into it. He was saying, "Hey, look, there's a UFO. This is proof." And then Art Bell talks about it. Well, it's on the radio. It must be really true. And so that's a way of being manipulative and a bit of a mind control, using religion, and it is used and used and used now. and always have been, in the name of religion, as a way of controlling people.
And I think you kind of lost it a lot when Bonnie died, because
Yes.
Bonnie was actually the leader of the whole cult.
Yeah.
He
Well,
was just the go to guy that went out and tried to get the followers, and he was the I guess he said the talker of the group.
talker.
He did all the talking for, but she was the one that ran everything. She was the head honcho as far as everything goes. And when she died, he was just, what do I do?
He had
It
to come
kind of
up.
messed up his brain and everything. And then and well, we got to do something, to get rid of, we got to go ahead and get to the. She's already gone,
Right.
and
She's
they're
she's
like,
going to
well,
that ship.
if
Yeah.
she died, then, she had cancer. Why she die? And blah blah blah. And he's like, well, she died, so her body can go. She's already there on the vessel. So
Waiting
now we
for
got
us.
to do
Yeah.
what we got to do to go to the vessel.
And you go back and think about it with Christianity and teachings from the Bible. People are taught when you pass away here, you go to heaven, you're going to be with your loved ones.
Right.
He was playing there again. He was playing on that teaching, but he moved it around and changed it around to match his belief, to
Right.
match what he's trying to get over to people. And again, that was manipulative. And that in itself, the way a psychotic man, and he was, manipulates people to believe what he's saying. And that also goes back to Charles Manson. He done the same thing.
Right. And he had to come up with an answer when everybody started asking questions. He had to come up with an answer off the top of his head of why, her body, she had cancer, and well, was she gonna make it up there because she had cancer? Or he had to come up with something right off the top of his head, to make them believe. And he come up with the right answer because everybody
Yeah,
believed him
absolutely.
for another 17 or 12 years, another 12 years.
Well, that was the largest mass suicide in the United States, and it it kind of really rocked the United States, if you will. Um, People just, and it was talked about, and it's still talked about. You just don't hear it as much now as you did back in the
Yeah.
early 2000s and things. Um, some of those things and the people that were related to those people that died. Of course, the news did their thing. They went and interviewed or tried to interview. They waited outside some of these people's house. Um, how did you? One of the things I seen the news reporter, and I forget his name. If I could remember, I'd say, because I thought he was really cruel in talking to the lady. How does it feel to have your? I think it was her sister as a part of Heaven's Gate, and knowing that it was a cult and they killed themselves and blah 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 blah. It just kept on and on and on. You know, that's not news.
Right.
Okay, that's playing on somebody else's uh, terror that they've just gone through. I think that's kind of like torture.
Yep.
And all
That.
the interviews that I had to watch, to learn this stuff, it makes you feel incredibly bad for these people. And then you have to step back and kind of think, well, how did this guy think in order to manipulate so many people? Would I have done that? Um, would I have put myself in their position? Would I have believed what he said? That's the reason whenever he was doing all this stuff, um, he was saying all these things to make them believe him. It was hard not for them to believe him.
Right.
And, so It's crazy how people can do that, can manipulate people in order just to make them believe they're right.
He knew the exact BS that he had to feed them.
Sure. Um, and then, of course, the only drug, like we were talking about, was the drug that they used to commit the suicide.
Yep.
Now, could there have been of other drugs? Sure, sure. Um, but he he didn't use drugs in order to manipulate. It was all mind control,
Right.
and that was one of the things that the CIA was in on him with. He was curious. They were curious at in the beginning. They were curious at how many drugs or what kind of drug he was using to you know get these people to be convinced of what he's saying.
And they even had over at one time, I think, 200 members.
Yeah,
There was one guy, or one young guy. His father rode around with the FBI looking for his son.
see, see, that's right there sad.
And I
Uh,
think they had a, I forget what they called it, something parent train or something, that a lot of these parents from the young people were trying to find them so they could try to get them out of this cult.
yeah,
And he literally had to have them call them and tell them, "Don't come looking for me. Um, I'm here. I'm not leaving. Uh,
yeah,
just stop. We're doing what we want to do. We don't need you bugging us."
true. And but Charles, I agree totally. You know, there's so much spaceship activity. There's things that's going on right now. Um, who else is going to jump on that bandwagon and get a bunch of people to kill themselves? Ben, he knew. Sorry, I can't see. He knew how to get that person very easily, from what I was always told about him. Yeah, I'm exactly. He, however, and that's why I was going back to the whole military thing. Did the Army teach him how to manipulate? Of course, you were in the Army. Did they teach you in basic? They had to break you down to build you up, just like the
Very
Marine
much.
Corps. And so that way of manipulating people that thought, hey, I'm going to do this because um, I need to. I need to do that and get these people to follow me. And it's not that where I seen there wasn't something that it was not a get rich quick or anything like that. He had to be right.
And I bet you he vetted them people too.
Yeah,
I bet you he went through and looked at these people and like, yeah, I got this one. I'll get this one. That one there is going to be tough. We might have to get rid of that one. But guarantee you I can keep this one.
yeah. All convince them a little bit of this, make them hungry, tell them a little bit more, make them a little more hungry,
Yep.
and make them ask questions.
Like the military, beat them down for the first couple of weeks. Make them, beat them down until they'll do what you're telling them to do. And then, like in the military, after that first 2 or 3 weeks, they're your best friends, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They'll help you with anything. They're gonna dog you that first couple of weeks. They're gonna make you mad enough to do what you're supposed to do, and then after that 3 weeks, yeah, them good buddies. I'll help you with anything I can. Just ask me. What being say side question? Has any ever investigated that side or anything?
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
That might be a good thing to hunt up and see. This is going to be one of those shows. We're not going to get it all done in one show, and but that would be something. I know a couple people that might know something about that lives fairly close to that area. So they're older people in their 70s, 60s. So they would be well acquainted with that. But
That'd be a fun place to investigate if it was still there.
well, I don't know about fun. It's you wouldn't want to take any empaths in there. You wouldn't,
Yeah.
anybody that feels with their heart or anything like that drive them crazy. I mean, you and I could go in there with no problem, but
Any place is fun for me to go investigate.
it's
I enjoy it.
it, it's 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 one of those things that it,
That's a good question, Ben.
what do you say?
He
I
said, wouldn't they be trapped if they did it to themselves?
Well, there's a lot of speculation about that very same thing. You hear preachers talk about if someone killed themselves, they couldn't go to heaven. Um, but you never actually. Some of the pastors would say they're going to hell, but some of them would say no, they're not going to hell either. So where'd they go? In this
Right.
case, they killed themselves to go into a UFO.
To go to heaven.
Yeah, and I totally do not agree with suicide.
No.
That is the most cowardice way out. I get it. I've seen friends of mine um, that were just totally out of their mind with depression, totally PTSD. Military friends of mine that were just crazed within. They were trapped in their own head, and of course, military suicides are just rampant.
Yeah, that's
You know,
terrible.
yeah, and but I don't agree with that at all.
Ben said they could still be there waiting to get beamed up. Beam me up, Scotty.
This is very true. Um, but uh, so whatever he had that he was able to convince these people to kill themselves, and that there was a UFO coming to pick them up. All right.
It,
Me,
it,
I would have said, wait a minute. If there's a UFO coming to pick me up, why do I got to kill myself?
yeah.
You know. Um, you know. So that teaching is symbolic to um, a cross between a bunch of religions, if you will, and you know, Satanism. They don't even teach you that suicide's the way.
All right. Now he didn't even seem like a ruthless,
No,
aggressive person. He was like he was a nice guy.
no, he
Like I
was.
said, he went to church. He was part of the church. He was a like a choir director thing. I guess it was at a church.
He
Um,
studied
he
theology.
he sang in an opera. Um, he was just they say he was just a down to earth guy. He wasn't a Charles Manson type
No.
fella.
What better way to draw people in as in being someone you can trust? He's nice.
Right.
He knows, he feels what you're doing, and um,
This happened in 1997, Ben.
a couple days ago.
Seems like it.
Yeah, 1997. It wasn't that long ago. I definitely remember seeing it on the news, hearing about it. Um, they talked about it a long time,
Yep.
and
Nope, it was 1997.
you could probably go back. I know you can go back on YouTube and find some of the news outlets that was talking about it. Things like the ABC did a thing, um, CBS, and there was another news outlet that um, I forget exactly But that was the CNN of news things, uh, and they got it all wrong, and it was just pretty amazing. And sorry, guys, I got to cut this air conditioner off. Yep, you can hang meat in this place.
That's my kind of place. I got a fan blowing on me.
Well, um, I'm sitting right in front of it. My old body can't take the cold air anymore. But yeah, I mean, uh, so this guy found a way to manipulate people enough that they died for him,
Which
and
was a shame.
which was a shame. It was really sad. It really was. And I think that everybody needs to stand back and look at themselves. And when you start hearing this stuff on TV, like the David Koresh, the Jim Jones, other people like that, Charles Manson, stand back and say, wait a minute, they had so much of a negative impact on society and on this world, right along with uh,
Applewhite.
Mark Applewhite. Um, it's so negative, and this whole society, we all need to just kind of stand back and take a look at ourselves. Like Michael Jackson says, look in the mirror and
And
change the man in the mirror.
these people had a choice. They chose to do what they did.
Yeah, they did, and because they were manipulated.
Right. Others decided not to do it. So they had that choice.
Yeah. So my thoughts and prayers goes out to the family even now. I mean, because
Yeah.
those people, and when I came up with this topic, you know, with it being as new as it was, I had to stop and think, what's the chances of some of their family members seeing this podcast? Kind of low, but it's possible. And so my thoughts and prayers goes out to the family of these people. Um, it was just senseless thing. And you're right, Ben. It's such a sad thing.
Yep.
And maybe we can in the future. Maybe we can avoid these things by learning about our history.
Like they say, see things, say things. You
Exactly.
see something that don't look right, say something about it.
Exactly. Don't just sit there and just keep quiet. That's
Right.
just the wrong thing to do. Um, but we're gonna continue this on another show. Um, I've got some things I'm gonna check into about this very subject, Michael. I'll shoot that over to you uh, because I want to carry this on to another show.
I've looked today to try to find some of his music, something showing, where he was singing. Because, like I said, they said he had a wonderful voice. And, I tried to find some, but I wasn't able to find nothing on it.
Well, um, we're also gonna continue our Charles Manson uh, shows, and we'll probably do one of those in the next few weeks. And of course, I've got I'm working on the Vatican thing again, so we're going to be doing that. So if everybody out there that's watching, if you want to learn the down and dirty, greedy things about what's in the bottom of the Vatican, that's coming soon. And I'm gonna put some information out about that, let you guys know when that's going to be. Um, I'm also going to get with Michael. We're going to release some information on our topics for some of our shows, so you guys will know what's coming.
Excuse me.
And we've started these few shows off with these things, these cult and crime and things like that. But things are going to get a little darker. Um, a little more dastardly, if you will. What's up,
What's
Blaine?
up, Blaine?
But and so
Blaine might have knew probably pretty good about this subject.
he very well could have. And it you know when I read about this, I remembered the news broadcasts and stuff, and I'm like, you know, I think this nobody's talked about this for a little while,
Right. When
and
you mentioned it to me, I didn't remember the name, Applewhite, but when you said Heaven's Gate, I remember that exactly, you know, from back in that day.
oh yeah, it's man, this stuff is there's so much out there. We only kind of touched on it tonight. Some of the actual cult members and stuff like that actually spoke out. So the ones that left the group, and there was some of them that reported that to the police. Well, the police never done anything. There was one police officer that actually contacted the federal government because he was afraid to approach the cult,
Right.
and he didn't know what they would do. And so that's how the CIA got involved, and they were they were investigating like crazy, and so and then I guess maybe that's the reason because right there towards the end, Applewhite was kind of accelerating things.
Yeah.
So maybe he had got the wind that CIA is getting ready to shut him down. So boom, he goes ahead and activates his plan, you know,
They
and
went they went ahead and made a date, made
yeah,
that date, and then the members that killed himself, they all did a bucket list. They went to SeaWorld, they went to Mexico, they went to Las Vegas, and a few other places. So
yeah,
they knew it was going to happen, so they made the best of it before they, went out of this world.
enjoyed some of that money that was
Yeah,
being pushed towards them and stuff like that.
and that
Yeah,
was things that they wasn't able to do, in that group at that time.
right. I bet you that as we look into this a little bit deeper, we'll probably find there was uh, all kinds of donors and
Yeah,
sponsorships to this, and because he manipulated them as well. Hey, this is basically I'm starting a church type thing. You want to donate to the church, basically, and so
I told him, Blaine. I told him that's what was wrong with him. He went to Alabama.
yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. Um, you know, he had to learn how to do this stuff somewhere.
All right.
But you know, becoming smart, that's where you want to go is Alabama.
He was he was a smart fella.
Yeah.
He wasn't no dummy.
No. And Blaine, maybe the next show you can come on and if you got any insight on this, it'd be great. Um, this is I mean, I'm a big paranormal person, a paranormal investigator, and just as you are, Michael. But some of this stuff, what do you say?
Damn
Damn
Barner.
Bammer. He's right. He's right. Roll Tide though. But so but me going into this true crime stuff or and look, I've read some stuff that I mean, I just wanted to sit there and bawl my eyes out, especially some of the children and things that's happened to them. And down the road, we're going to be bringing on some of those things. And
One of those families in that group left their 10-year-old kid. I think it was with her grandmother, and just left her kid and left their whole life. Went to this cult for 6 years, and then they left. Went back with a daughter, she was 16 when they got back with her, and then wasn't long after that they left and went back to the cult again.
Yeah. You know, it's hard to break that connection that you have once you get deep in it. And it, it is really and I'm talking from experience, okay? When you get caught where you're in a situation that makes you feel good, these people are saying great things, you have this so-called power and so on and so forth. That's the whole thing is a cult. That's what it gives you. That gives you feeling right here.
Yep.
Okay, some of it's invincible, kind of like a drug. That drug has got you where you feel invincible, 10 foot tall, bulletproof, that type of thing. So these people that back out, oh, I'm leaving, that haunts them,
Yep.
and that leader is going to do things to push that key, push that button that shows them you were wrong for leaving. This is not right. It's going to haunt you, that type of thing. And there's been so many people, the cult leaders would go and visit them to recruit them back.
And
And
then, and then I bet you it was harder on them when
yeah,
they came back until they proved themselves that they wanted to be there.
yeah. And I mean, it's hideous. It really is. And when people manipulate, or organizations manipulate, or sex, or they'll use every avenue that they have to. And you know, the
One,
biggest thing about Satanism, some of the people that were involved in it were not just people like you and I. It was lawyers, state representatives,
yep,
it was sheriffs, law enforcement officials, things of that nature, and
elected officials.
elected officials. Um, these little covens that they make, it, it is it is really hard to break that. And but once you exactly being people with power,
Right.
they use that power against you. Okay, they well, you can't leave this because I'm going to do this. They're going to hold this over your head, and so on and so forth. There was hideous things done. Okay, and when people do those hideous things, they're caught. They're caught up in it because, well, the first thing they're going to say is, "I'm going to tell." People don't want that out. If they done
Yeah.
anything or was associated with anything or manipulated in that fact, they don't want people around them or out in the public
Right.
to know.
We can't let you out because you might say something.
Right. And there was people that disappeared. There was people that got lost in the communion, if you will. And so I think some of these cults like Applewhite, Jim Jones, um, Koresh, Manson, all these other that followed in those tracks. Can't name them all right now off the top of my head, but I think that nature is exactly what has fed them. I'll tell on you. They get the
Snitches get
dirt on.
stitches.
Snitches get stitches. You've done this, and they're not going to like that. So therefore, you need to stay here where it's safe. Or if you don't stay here, then I'm going to tell the world, or I'm going to tell your mom. I'm going to tell your, whatever. And then it goes into things, well, will you leave my family alone? I'll come over and do this. But they use that family to manipulate them. The fact that they may go and do something to their family, it's fear, being a fear monger, you know,
Right.
getting in there, controlling that person's mind. Fear is one of the ways that people can just steer other people, organizations even, steer them in every way that they possibly want them to go.
Yeah, because you're going to do whatever you can to keep your family safe,
Exactly. And
even the ones you don't like.
even the ones you don't like, right? Family's family.
That's right.
And so these people just play on that. They play on that heartstring, if you will. And you get people that move in and go in, join these cults and say, "Oh well, I don't care. You can go do what you want to do. Go hurt my family or whatever. Go hurt my friends. I don't care. Not going to bother me." Well, that's a manipulative nature anyway, and they're trying to do a rebuttal, if you will, trying to say, well, if I convince them I don't care, they're not going to mess with my family. Well, that's not true.
No.
So it's called same way, as anything like Satanism or whatever, and um, you know that's just one thing. It's kind of like saying Christianity, uh, being being in situations like that. You can make anything bad, and it doesn't matter how good of intentions you have. You can make anything bad.
That's true.
And, being a pagan, that's not a bad thing. That's a belief cycle. That is, I know plenty of people that are pagans. That some of the nicest people you ever wanted to meet, that would give you the shirt off their back. Okay, they just don't believe in the same thing that you do or other people do,
Right.
and they just haven't had that fulfillment yet, and may never. And but I don't hold anybody's religion against them. Do I agree with it? No. There's a whole bunch of things I don't agree with.
Everybody can't agree on everything. It's
Exactly.
never. It's never going to happen. Never.
Bringing it to a level where people are dying, that's wrong. I think that's wrong, period. Okay. You take your beliefs, you keep them yourself. And if it's a good thing, you want to bring people over so they can enjoy the good thing or whatever, that's fine. But don't be a manipulator to try to harm people and convincing them to uh, commit suicide is a way of harming people. When that happens, it harms society, not just the people that died, not even their families. It harms society. And, so that's some of the things that doing some of these shows that we're going to run into that, people, they're going to say, how can you talk about this stuff? Why not?
That's what
Why hide
smoke's
it?
about. That's what smoke's
That's what
about.
smoke is about. Exactly. And if we let our history go, there's no way we're going to have a future.
No.
You use history to make the future better. And that's another thing smoke's going to do. We're going to throw the history out there, good or bad, and people can take it for what it is, and just maybe, one person can watch our show and back out and learn something that makes their life a little bit better. Like, wait a minute, I didn't know that. maybe I need to go in this direction, or maybe I need to research that. And I tell everybody, I don't care what it is, you research it,
Exactly.
and then you make that decision, whether it's Christianity, whatever the case may be. You research it, you talk to people. That's part of researching. And so that's just a way of making sure that it's right for you.
When we get a topic, we research it. We don't
Oh
just
yeah.
we're not if we say something wrong on here, it's because of the research that we've researched is wrong.
Yeah.
Because
We
we do a
don't
lot of
agree.
research.
Oh my gosh, I have ever since I told you about this. I have, in fact, I read about it beforehand. You know, I done quite a bit of research beforehand because I'm like, okay, well, before I throw this out there to Michael, let me see if I think this would be just something that we would want to do on the show and that type of thing. And then you had asked me about the topic. I said, well, how about this? And because it did intrigue me. Um, that's one of the things that Manson intrigues me is how the man's mind works, how he could control them people, not just drugs. Drugs wasn't the total thing.
Mm-hmm.
This and Applewhite, he had a way, and I guess it would be kind of like drugs, if you will. He had a manipulative way that people just couldn't say no.
I
And
was I was literally still researching like 2 minutes before the show started.
yeah,
I mean,
I, I was walking to the studio reading stuff on my phone.
yeah,
you know,
I had stuff on my phone. I was going through trying to get stuff off of timelines, so I made sure I had that stuff right. I was watching a video on my TV
yeah.
about you know Applewhite. Had another phone with stuff on it, so I got three phones that I make sure I do research on if I got to go through all of it at the same time.
Well, that's the only way to do that. It's the only way to bring things to light is to do diligent research, and not just online research. I'm talking about we go to libraries,
Hmm.
wherever, whatever we need to do to find out about things.
I got
And
my library card 2 weeks ago. Went straight to the library, started getting stuff.
so it's when you're stepping into, and that's one of the things that I thought about this whole year before just throwing smoke out there. I mean, I know we had in the beginning had a little bit of a rocky start, but I wanted to make sure that smoke was going to be the thing that I pictured it to be a year ago, because what I pictured is going to be something that helps people in the long run. It helps people, and not just two guys sitting up here or three guys sitting up here talking about, you know, crazy people or paranormal this or, demon that type of thing. Um, that's not what I envisioned. And I had talked to my wife several times about it. And it's one of those things. I asked her for help. That woman is the world's best in research.
Research queen.
Yes. And so she and a lot of times I'll throw these topics at her. Hey, what do you think about that? And tonight she's probably not watching because she said she didn't. She's having a little issue sleeping anyway, and these things because she is so sensitive, and it bothers her. And any show that we have that's going to be dealing with children or anything like that, she's definitely not going to be here as well. And I can't blame her. You know, the mother instinct with her. You know it.
Right.
anything that hurts a child, it makes her so mad. And heaven forbid, I was reading about the little girl in Enterprise,
Right.
and she got up and walked out. And you know, me being ex-EMS, uh, I've seen a lot of things dealing with children, and it does break my heart. You know,
Children's a touchy subject.
when you when you bring children out of a burning building, several, multiple, multiples of several out of a burning building, and three of them make it. It kind of plays on you, and I still have memories of that. I sometimes I can't sleep. Um, so I get it, I do. But sometimes talking about things kind of helps me. Know that I'm not the only one in the world that goes through that type of thing. Um, so I know there's other people that suffers because of things like Applewhite done, and just to know that we're not the only ones in the world that's attentive to these things. So yeah, so that's kind of my framework, my look into these things, and I I don't say a whole lot about how I think about these things or how they come about and stuff like that. Um, but it's not taken very lightly, and sometimes just riding down the road, I just have these thoughts,
Yeah.
and wait a minute, I need to go research that, and so that's how some of these things, these areas, these gray areas, if you will, I walk into, and so. But well, Blaine, is there anything else you want to say? We're over about 44 minutes.
That long already? Phew.
Yeah.
I thought we was gonna do 2 hours tonight.
Oh well, let's just keep on going then.
Nah, I just can't believe some of the things that man, was able to teach them or talk them into doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too. And
And we, like he said earlier, we're gonna go in some more detail about stuff on the next show, and might have a guest for the next show. If anybody down there in the comments wants to knows anything about this and wants to talk about it, maybe we can bring you up for a few minutes and you can talk about it and send them an email.
oh yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
if you got subjects you want to talk about next week or next few weeks, let us know. We'd be happy to look at it and see what we can find out.
Yep. We do have an email address for the show. Smokepodcast at gmail.com. You can, of course, go like our page, Smoke Podcast, with Stan and Michael. Go and like the Web Radio Network uh, page, and you can it has a email as well, webradionetwork at gmail.com,
Check out
or the
all the
web network.
podcasts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Check out all the podcasts.
We got so many podcasts. We got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. In fact, Ben's show comes on tomorrow. Pop culture chaos
Chaos.
with Ben Bracken and Sour Patch, aka Danny Andrews. Um, last week they had William Perry. This
Hell of
week,
a guy.
yeah, absolutely. This week they're gonna do some Ghostbusters on there, and
I missed the show last week and because I was out late, and when I got back home, I watched it. That was a good show.
oh yeah, absolutely. And you know, something we haven't done is give away a free ticket to the upcoming con. And but it's the Deep South Bear Comic Con, y'all, that's coming up, and um, we haven't had anybody sign up. Ben says we will be doing research soon. Um,
And that's August 8th and 9th,
that's right.
the same day as the Manson murders.
That's right. You're absolutely right. And it, but I tell you what, if
That's just such
somebody,
a coincidence.
right, if somebody can go over to, um, go over to the Web Radio Network and go to our email and email us what the name of the person of our topic was tonight, I'll give you a free ticket to go to Deep South Bear Comic Con. That's one free ticket per household now. And but just go over to the Web Radio Network on Facebook. Um, you can go into the comments below this and put it in there if you want to. And but go through the email as well.
You don't count, Ben. You can't
No,
get
you
one.
count. You get in free anyway. But so and then next week we're gonna give away another ticket, maybe more. But during this week, Michael, I'm gonna get with you, and we're gonna maybe give some tickets away during the week on Facebook. We'll have some trivia and stuff to come, to go through.
Ben said, "Oh shucks, we might have to charge him anyway."
Yeah, but yeah, the free tickets are coming. Um, but it's Deep South Bear Comic Con. It's gonna be in Enterprise Civic Center in Enterprise, Alabama, August 8th and 9th. Um, we're going to be releasing more information. We did sign Robert Muke's uh, House of a Thousand Corpses. Um, he's all signed up, ready to go. Of course, we got Lee Triana, Terry Brown, we got Keith Age, Rock and Roll Ghost Hunter, just to mention a few. And there's going to be some more announcements of other guests and things like that. Blaine Rohan.
I was going to say, even Mr. Blaine in the comments.
Yep. Um, Blaine Rohan. He didn't make it last year. He was sick, but this year my brother's coming back, and we're going to have a blast. I want everybody to come out and give Blaine a big hug. Don't just shake his hand. Walk up to him and give him a big bear hug.
That's what I was going to say. I'm going to give him a big old bear hug when they get there.
And but it's going to be a great event this year. We're going to have gaming. We're going to have all kinds of surprises. The Ghostbusters is going to be there.
Sword fighting.
Yeah. The whole backside of the thing is going to be filled with board gaming.
Plenty of food.
Yeah. Outside vendors, inside vendors. We are still taking vendor applications for outside and inside. All you got to do is go to deepsouthparacomicon.com and you'll see all how to sign up to be a vendor and buy tickets. Buy tickets. So we're going to give one away per household. You got to bring somebody with you now.
We're even looking for sponsors.
Absolutely. We have all kinds of packages for sponsors, little to big. And, there's a lot that comes with sponsorship. But it's running close, so you need to get it in there. Just send us an email. Teresa and I we'll get back to you. The cosplay. If you want to get signed up for the cosplay, go to the website, deepsouthbearcomiccon.com. Click on that things to do tab and go down and hit cosplay, and you can sign up. Forgive me, Shawana, but Jasmine something is the guest, the cosplay guest coming in. Um, it's going to be really amazing to see this young lady. She has so many characters.
And Lily of Bulgava is going to be there again this year.
That's right.
Her and her husband,
Yep. And
great people.
absolutely. They were there last year. An amazing performance on stage by Lilia. And it, yeah, it's just amazing. Um, let's see, who else we got?
EVP.
That's right. Richard and Colleen
Can't
Johnson.
forget Richard.
That's right.
Can't forget them, Richard and Colleen.
Ethereal Paranormal. And it they're amazing people. Um, so we have also Gwen Johns is coming from All Access TV. Um,
Michael and Destiny Fox.
that's right. They're coming. They're always a hoot, and so y'all come out, see Michael and Destiny. Give them a big hug too. Tell them Stan sent you. And
That's right.
yeah, they got some great necklaces and things like that. I bought some, and of course they gifted me a necklace, and I wear it quite a bit. And but it's just an amazing event, and this year is not going to be any different. It it's just amazing. And Keith,
And
everybody needs to come meet the rock and roll ghost hunter, Keith Age.
yeah, he's a big teddy bear too.
Yeah, he is. Give him a big old hug now. Remember, he's gonna hug you back.
All right.
And that guy, he's strong. He can get it done. And
And
but
we lowered the prices this year, right?
yes, they're if you go online, they're $8. At the door, they're $10. Last year it was 15.
Right.
So we dropped it tremendously. And you know, not everybody's got $15. People want to come out and have a good time and stuff like that. Just come and drop a $10 bill, and you get access to meet these beautiful people, as I call them. Now, Robert Mukes, that dude is 6'10". The dude is tall and big, but he's kind of like a teddy bear too. But I ain't gonna tell you to go hugging on him because
No, he might might not like that one.
you might not. I mean, I've never met him. I've talked to him on the phone several times. We probably talk 2 or 3 times a week through text message. But he's a super nice guy.
Maybe wait till after the show, and he might let you hug him then.
Mm. Oh no, you go and buy one of his autographs or his picture of the him at the in the movie House of Thousand Corpses. He'll probably let you hug him.
Yeah.
And you get to go take you a selfie with him, and go help this man out. He's coming all the way to the south.
We're gonna have to get him on this show.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna work on that. And I had already talked to him about it, and he agreed. We just got to come up with a date because he is busy. So, and of course, I have to remind everybody, James Stokes is not able to come back this year.
Yeah.
He's lined up for next year, but he has to work. He's making a movie in Ohio that weekend. So
if you ain't seen any of his movies, go check them out.
James is a good guy, and he's a good Jason Voorhees.
Yep.
Now, who is the craziest dude coming to our con as a guest?
Craziest one. Oh, it's got to be the redneck Raja,
The redneck Rod,
Chateen
Yateen
Patel.
Patel.
It's
That's
neck and
right.
neck now with him and Blaine.
Well, that's true. But Yateen, he is a nut case. The nicest guy you want to meet. I mean, he's amazing. He's an amazing guy. And of course, he got his reptiles, and he has that big old long skin that he brings and stuff like that.
And he's working
And
on getting him a hawk now.
yep, and of course, anything that's done with the animals will be outside uh, rather than inside at the civic center. But that's okay. We're going to have everything set up and stuff, and hopefully it'll be like last year and only be like 85 degrees or something, But we're going to have some cooling stations, some fans, that type of thing set up. And
Now, if you walk away from him and you ain't got a smile on your face, something is wrong.
yeah, yeah, you've had
If
a
you ain't
bad,
laughing when you walk away from him, something's wrong.
yeah, you've had a bad day. If
Right.
yeah, so yeah, just something about him, and go and watch his crazy videos and antics on Facebook.
He's got two
You
or
know,
three Facebook pages
yeah.
and catch him on YouTube. Yeah.
What we'll do a trivia for that fact next week. You come back to pod to smoke and tell me what is Jatin Patel's saying that he always says. You come back and tell me, and I'll give you a free ticket to Deep South Bear Comic Con. And just tell me in the comments, and if you want to tell me in person what his saying is, I'll bring you on live, and you can tell everybody what that saying is.
We got to bring him on too.
Oh yeah, I'll get him set up too. Uh, just everybody be ready to laugh when the man comes on, and
It'll be a comical show.
yeah.
It's going down a weird hole.
I'm glad you said that, Michael.
A weird rabbit hole.
Weird rabbit hole. Yep, that's a snake hole there.
A redneck Raja hole.
That's right. But this crazy guy is going to be at the con, and it's going to be fun. And we're adding more stuff pretty much every day. Teresa, in fact, I've been watching my computer and stuff here. Teresa, in fact, is working right now on some things. Excuse me, I was up really early, but she's working on some stuff right now, and I think everybody's going to be excited on some of the things that we're bringing. Y'all come out, hug Lee Triana's neck, Matt's neck, and
Gwen's neck.
Gwen. And Gwen, tell them all that I sent you, that you're supposed to get a hug, and they will hug you. And they're a hugging bunch, that's for sure. And but that's cool. That just goes to show you the type of people they are, and this is why we bring them to our event. I mean, it's just amazing. Ben says, "Hell, I want a hug too."
They
Michael,
plug our show just like we try to plug their shows.
absolutely. All Access TV, y'all go over and check it out. They have all kinds. Go hit Litriana's page, Gwen's page, Matt, you
Blaine.
know, Blaine. They have all kinds of shows over there. Y'all go check them out. We're gonna have some of them on our show, um, and
We're
it's
going to
just
do a crossover.
a cross show. That's right. We'll do some simulcasting and stuff like that. But we are going to have a few shows from Smoke that's going to be dedicated to the Deep South as it gets a little bit closer. Maybe we'll go a little dark side of the Deep South or something.
And we might even throw in an extra show once a week, every now and then. You never know.
Never can tell with us. And who knows, we might get all the guests at one time and put them all on the show at one time. And
Family get together.
that's right. See if we can start an argument.
I don't see that.
No, but that's the type of thing that we like doing. And we're serious about our stuff with smoke, the avenues that we're going to be going. But we are going to have some lighter side shows that kind of clears the air, if you will, resets a few things, and then the next show we go right back to the dark side. And but anybody that's following the Web Radio Network, you're gonna see um, like this coming Monday, everything under the moon with Becky and Kira, um, and then you're gonna see on Tuesday spooky things with Debbie. She covers a vast array of things, cryptid, all sorts of stuff. And then right after her show, you'll see Explaining the Unexplainable with Mercedes Lucky Benedict and Bishop Joshua Sparks. They cover all sorts of things, and Bishop Joshua, is going to be our guest on the Vatican show. So that's one that you're going to want to come back for.
And don't
Um,
forget Michael and Destiny show.
that's right. That's every other weekend or every other Monday, I mean. And that's The Darker Side of the Moon with Michael and Destiny Fox and Michelle Perez. And they had a great show this past time. And you and I got to be on their show not
Yeah.
long ago. That we had a blast. And so y'all come check that show out. That's every other Monday. And then Wednesday, of course, Smoke. Come back and see me and Michael. Um, and then Thursday, you go and see Ben Bracken and Danny Andrews, aka Sour Patch, on Pop Culture Chaos.
You
Um,
never know what you're gonna find on that show either.
I know that is right. Ben goes down some holes. I don't know that I'd go either. So, but but I meant that in a good way, Ben. But but yeah, y'all come check out the shows, and we're going to be adding some more shows that's coming. And I've got to get all the particulars worked out with the hosts and things like that. And um, it's going to be we're growing just like All Access TV, and we're um, we're just moving forward. And but yeah, I want to thank everybody for tuning in, listening to us ramble, uh, listen to us talk about our topic, and just kind of be a part of the crowd. We do appreciate every single one of you.
And you
And
got to come back next week to find out what the topic is.
that's right. Just
Unless,
kind of,
at least till we put out a trailer for it.
that's right. Just watch Facebook. You'll see. Um, Guarantee you're gonna want to tune in. And so yeah. And so Michael, how can they get a hold of us, sir?
You can find me on Facebook, Michael Colt Jr. You can find me on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. Web Paranormal Group.
Yep.
Deep South Paracomic Con and the Medieval Faith Fest.
That's right. I had
Right behind his head there. Catch us right here on Smoke every Wednesday night.
Yep.
Um, just look for us. We're around somewhere.
Yeah. Right.
YouTube.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, anybody that's got any topic you want us to cover, anything, just
And,
shoot us a message.
and share it to your friends and family. Send it
That's
out
right.
to anybody you think's interested in it.
Go over to our Smoke podcast page on Facebook and like it, follow it, and because there's getting ready to be a lot of content put on there and a lot of announcements and things like that that's coming. And if you want to be a part of this show, you have a topic you want to come on and talk about, just let us know. And it may not be right immediate, but we will make it happen.
Right.
And so our topics are pretty dark.
We got to have
So
time to research it.
that's right. That's right. You
Research.
contact us.
Always
Contact us.
research everything.
That's right. So we'll do our research and then we'll bring you on and we can all talk about it. And so but we appreciate everybody and sorry for all the rambling and sorry for the screw up in the beginning. Um, some of my click and save didn't save, but so but anyway, well, brother Michael, it's been great, sir, and I will
Always fun.
absolutely, and I will get with you tomorrow, and we'll do some talking, and we'll surprise these people with some stuff. How about that? All right, guys. We're going to say good night, and we hope everybody has a blessed evening. And we will see you guys next week
See
right here
y'all later next week.
on
Peace.
Smoke. Later.